Hello and thank you for joining us for the 2024 Western North Carolina High School Disc Golf Regional Championship. My name is Kyle Silva and I'm the director of the WNCHSDG, and I'm happy to be here with you watching this awesome round. Today we are playing at Jackson Park Disc Golf Course in Hendersonville, North Carolina, designed in 2015 by Jay McCarthy. It's a beautiful course and I'm excited to see how they tackle it. Here's our boys varsity regular season results. Unfortunately, Colin Breeder, our regular season champion, is not here today. The tournament got moved due to weather and he couldn't make it. We're also going to see Nora and Grayson on the back nine with a couple check-ins for our girls varsity division. First up on our lead card today is Mason Hudson. He was a second place finisher in last year's regional championship. He's a sophomore from Fernleaf. Logan Stubbs, also a sophomore from Fernleaf, had a breakout year. Excellent job. We've got Ben Hinchliffe, a senior from West Henderson High School, currently a freshman out there at Grand Canyon University. And then Wilson Davis, who's taking the place of Colin. Wilson won an event in the 2023 season. First up is Hole 1. Our sponsor for Hole 1, the Western North Carolina Disc Golf Association. Big ups to our local club, without whom our program would definitely not exist. Hole 1's wonderful. It's 312 feet, and there's 3 viable lines. You can go big hyzer here, which looks like what Mason is lining up. He is, and it's coming in a little hot. He'll find himself pretty deep of the pin, deep circle 2, maybe just outside. You can also try and go straight down the middle, and that's what Wilson's doing. Looks like that pyro was a bit too stable, so he'll have to try and get up and down for the par. And then there's a forehand route out to the left, which we may see one of these players take. Ben's going to go ahead and go wide, follow Mason's line, but do it a little bit better, and he's well inside the circle. And then Logan is, in fact, going to show us the forehand line, nice and wide, coming in perfect. A little bit of a counter skip, but you can't be too upset with that. So Wilson's got a bit of a patent pending here to try and get up and down for his 3 to start the round. Oh, it's really nice. An excellent shot. He's well in the bullseye and should pick that up easily. Back to Mason. He's looking for the long 2. Gives it a bid. Oh, just a bit low. So he'll walk away from hole 1 with a par to start his regional championship round. Ben inside the circle. He picks up a birdie in his attempt to defend his regional championship title from last year. And Logan gets a pretty nasty spit out on hole 1. He's going to go ahead and tap that in for a par. We're going to see Wilson and Mason step up and drop in their 3s. It's a beautiful day in Hendersonville when we film this. Recording the audio months later due to some technical difficulties and a hurricane, but I'm happy to finally be here. Hole 2, 282 feet. We're playing to the short red basket here. Really the only trouble you can get into are the trees on the left, or even worse, the pond long left. The sponsor for this hole, the WNC Nature Center. Big shout out to Chris Gentile and the Nature Center who printed all our T signs this year. The Nature Center is amazing. I'm a member. You should be too. They do wonderful work out there. Ben takes his volt, puts it out wide. Doesn't get the fade he's looking for, but he'll have a deep look at a birdie. Mason, he's got a Malta in hand. Nice and smooth. And perfect. Gets down just between the basket and the pond. He's going to like that a lot. Wilson also a mid-range. He's throwing a truth here. And gets into it a bit. It looks like it's not coming down quite as fast as he'd like. Yeah, that's going to find him pretty long. There was a slight breeze all day that got under the discs. Every once in a while, you can see the leaves moving here. So really hard to tell what it was going to do once it got past all those trees, especially. We go Logan. Oh, little nose up on that. He's asking for it to get down. Hits land, but does find the pond. He's out by about a foot there, so He's going to be putting from the edge for his par. Wilson a long look for 2. Stepper, not quite. Over the top, should be a pretty standard 3 though. On to Ben, who's also got a long look for 2. Lining it up. Just low. Cage for Ben, an excellent try. Here's Logan to try and save his par from his OB drop. Ramps off the top just a little bit. So it looks like Logan will pick up a bogey. And we have Wilson cleaning up the par here. And you may have noticed that Mason has not gone yet. His drive ended up very close, so he should have a drop-in birdie. A good putt from Wilson, a little wobbly, but nice to start the day. You never know how things are going to go when the camera's on you. I think we're all feeling the nerves a little bit. In the background on a number of holes, you'll see our league photographer, Danielle Farr from Fernleaf Charter School. She did an amazing job all season. Her galleries of pictures from our events are up on our website. You can check them out there. It was really great having Danielle around. So the players are very used to her taking their pictures all the time. So you'll see her in front of them getting some good action shots from time to time. Hole 3, 246 feet, but quite uphill. So it plays a bit longer. You're going to see most of these guys pull out a fairway driver on this one. And our sponsor for this whole, MVP Disc Sports, who's been just incredible. Special thank you to Mac Tobias out at Flat Rock Middle School, MVP sponsored pro. They've been supporting us for a few years now. They give us discs and baskets and basically everything we ask for. An incredible company. It's no surprise that so many of our players, including Ben, who throws exclusively MVP, so many of our players bag a ton of MVP and Axiom and Streamline plastic. Mason got a little nose up. He's pin high but left. Ben overthrew the basket there. Got his wave. He really whipped on it. You can see the wind picking up a little bit. Wilson thinking about where to put this FD3. He just watched 1 leak left and 1 leak long. So let's see if he makes the adjustment in the light breeze. It's a bit high. Oh, but it's dropping. Ooh. Gave it a scare. He should be inside the bullseye. That was an excellent throw. And we have Logan. Logan's got a rive in his hand, so he's really going to have to turn this one over because it's a pretty stable disc. So let's see how he approaches the hole here. Out of the hand just a little bit early, but that should get down well before the pickleball courts. And it does. So hopefully we'll have a pretty standard up and down. Here he is, first to act on his second. Looks like he wants to give it at least a little bit of a run. Oh, a little too much power, and finds himself with a short comebacker for his 3. Mason also lining up probably just outside the circle here. Smooth stroke, hits the cage. So he'll drop in his par. Ben also about circle's edge, maybe a little inside if I had to guess. Hey, what a good putt. Ben picks up his second of the round. And we have Logan here looking for his par. And then we have Wilson closer than everybody so far. That's a good putt off the top of the cage and in. So Logan mitigates the damage there. And here's Wilson, nice and close. Looks like he's going to get himself on the board for the first time today. Very exciting. And we've got the players are off and going. Like I said, a little breezy, and honestly, I think the camera makes everyone a little nervy. So it might take a couple holes to get into it, but these guys definitely play some good golf. So I'm excited to watch. With that, we're on to hole 4. Hole 4, sponsored by Throw Pink Disc Golf. I absolutely love Sarah Nicholson and the whole team over at Throw Pink. We're so thrilled and excited to have them as the title sponsor for our varsity girls division again this year. For this hole, it's 246 feet, but slightly downhill. You basically want to push this main gap as far as you can with a slow turning backhand, or more likely for these guys, a 4 or 5 speed forehand Something that's going to hold for a bit and then just bite. Here's Ben with his tempo. Puts a good move on it, but finds a tree on the left. I think that's the right line. You want to kind of hug that left side and then crash late. Let's see if Wilson can make the adjustment with his Toro here. Maybe over-adjusted a bit. That was going to be pretty good. Hits a tree early, but he's still inside the circle with a look. Probably a bit obstructed, but we'll see how that goes. Mason also pulling out a Toro, so let's see if he can make the adjustment based on what he just saw Wilson do and pull this a little bit more to the left. Yeah, puts a little Anheuser on it right down the middle of the fairway. That's going to skip. A little help from the tree never hurt anybody, and he's inside the bullseye for his second birdie of the day. Really nice shot. And we've got Logan with an A3 in his hand. He's going to try and follow those vapor trails best he can and get down the fairway. A bit early. Oh, and the left kick is not friendly. Logan will be up first. Logan's dad on the bag for him today. They're having a conversation about how best to get to the basket. Logan wants to go up high. Dad says maybe not. And teenagers, you know, they're going to do what they do. And let this be a lesson, everybody. Always listen to your parents. Finds an early tree. That's a tough break. We've got Ben here with a run-up, which is kind of interesting. I kind of thought he'd go standstill here, but maybe he's making a stab at this. That's pretty heavy. Okay, a bit long. Caught some trees. He'll have a deep circle one look for his par. Oh, Logan maybe rushed that one a little bit with the Berg. I think there's a little bit of frustration here. He is pitching up. Also a bit long, even with the elevation disc, you expect that to stick a bit better. So I do think a little bit of frustration on this hole. Hopefully he can bounce back from that. Wilson did in fact have a obstructed look for birdie. Can't make it drop. He'll drop in a par pretty easily. Here's Ben for his par after what wasn't a terrible drive, but the upshot a bit of a mistake. So let's see if he can make the circle's edge putt uphill here. Straddle. Gives it a good run, just a bit high. So it's going to erase one of his early birdies, but I think he's in pretty good shape. Logan just looking to get the heck out of here. I don't blame him. Takes his time, though, which is good. Lines up the putt. You got to think that that's just a mental mistake. Logan's a better putter than that. I've watched him all season. So, I think it's just one of those holes. You got to get out of here and just be done with it. Ben drops in his bogey. Here comes Logan to clean everything up. This is going to be a triple bogey for Logan, unfortunately. Just played a little plinko in the trees. Lots of golf to play, though, but it is a one-round event, so, got to kind of get the move on pretty quick. Wilson drops in his par, and there's Mason last to act for the solo birdie on the card. Pretty good job. Hole 5, 326-foot par 3. This is the hardest hole on the course today. It averaged 3.73. It's not that it's particularly long. They all have the distance, but the line is tight. Most of the time, you're going to want to take the line that the drone is flying here and then probably even push a little bit to the right of the tree we just passed and crash into that green best you can. Our sponsor for this hole is the Crane family. Liz Crane played in our league last season, and her brother Zach and her dad Chan were always there supporting. Really awesome people. And Chan passed away unexpectedly last year, and the family wanted to make sure that they donated some money to the league in his honor, and we couldn't be more grateful and more proud to be associated with Chan's name. So really big thank you to the Crane family. Mason puts his disc up there on an Anheuser. I really liked it. We'll have to see where it lands. Wilson tries to take the more conventional line, I think, and gets the kick to the right, which is the danger on that one, because you really are trying to throw it pretty hard to push to that green. Ben's lining up. He throws the same way. Also gets a pretty nasty kick to the right. They'll be in similar spots, scrambling for 3, but bogey's definitely in play. Logan looking to rebound a little bit. from that last hole. Let's see what he can put together here. He's got a Rive in hand, so he's going stable, which means he's probably pushing this right-hand side. No, he sure is on a little bit of hyzer if it gets around everything. Hits a tree late, but he's definitely got a very nice look for up and down. After that kick to the right, Ben's kind of in the rough there. Hits a tree on its way to the basket. Looked pretty good, but he's probably looking at a 4 here. Wilson, a similar spot, a little closer. He gets around the tree that Ben hit. Skips up, hard to tell, but that's pretty close to the basket. It's a really nice throw. Logan found himself in the middle of the fairway. You can see that the green is still pretty guarded, even after what was a pretty good throw. He pitches one up, fades out just a little early, so he's going to have an obstructed straddle to try and save his 3. Here's Ben with his 3rd shot. So he's going to probably try and give this a run. Almost certainly looking at it. Well, that's a good, honest run. A little deep, but he'll take a 4 and move on. Mason's tee shot, which looked so good, ended up much deeper than anticipated. He is behind this wall of trees here. And we'll show you the basket here in a second and see what he's got to work with. He's looking up here. It's a Toro in his hand. And here's the shot from the catch cam. So he's going to try and go over everything. And he almost dunks it in. He is 2 feet away from the basket after going up over the top. That is an incredible scramble. He's going to drop in a well-earned par. That's an exciting, exciting shot. I love that. Logan picking a side, couldn't decide left or right here. Chooses to go to the right with the straddle. Just a bit low, so he's going to add another stroke. It's unfortunate when his tee shot really ended up being the best of the bunch there. Wilson a bit deeper than I thought after his approach, but he's still got a look here. A little straddle. Really, really nice putt. Held the follow through. Everything looked really good. That's going to be a par for Wilson. And Ben, unfortunately, is going to take a bogey on this one. And we've got Mason who's going to walk up and take a par. And Logan's going to take a bogey as well. This hole today had 0 birdies. It played very difficult. It's a really tough hole, so no surprises there. But then we move on. Hole 6, special shout out to Will Hickerson and AVL Disc Golf, supporting our disc golfers, giving them discounts into his events, and helping us set up a bunch of stuff on the logistics side. Hole 6, 235 feet. It's short, but the green is nasty. I don't think the drone quite does it justice here. It's quite a steep hill. If your disc gets up on edge at all, it's rolling down. So most of the players are going to take a putter, and from this tee on the right side, they're probably going to put it on just a slight pushing. Anheuser doesn't quite. The angle looked really nice and hit the one tree to beat. But yeah, you're going to see most players try and pan left to right and see if they can get it to finish right there by the basket. Again, this is one of those holes that the putt is just that much more intimidating, knowing that things can and do go wrong on this green. So hopefully they can avoid that. Wilson turning over a Toro here, but not quite enough. It fades out early. Hopefully he can get up and down without any roll-away trouble. Here's Ben lining up his pyro. Again, it seems like from this right tee, everyone's going to try and push that backhand up there, which I think is probably the play. That's got a really nice shape. Hits some leaves and fades out a bit early. Ben's going to be in that dangerous distance where it's not long enough to lay up, but it's just long enough to be really dangerous. So we'll see how that goes and if he runs that or lays it up. Logan discs up a little bit to go flat. It looks nice, and if it settles, it stays in the air a bit long. He's going to have a look. He's in the circle, edge of circle. Either way, it's pretty pretty unobstructed, just depending on how much he wants to mess with this hillside here. Mason maybe giving this half a run. Hard to tell. Yeah, that's that half run layup. Hope it sits down, and it does. So he should be just fine. Wilson from a similar distance here. Little Anheuser catches some leaves. He's right in front of that log, but he should be able to put that in, no problem. Here's Ben. It's a really good tee shot. See if he can make good on the birdie. Oh, front lip is not good. Yeah, that's what can happen on this hole. So Ben will be up to act next. Now he's got a little bit of stuff in his way. The footing's not great. Yeah, a pretty safe bid, but unfortunately that's going to be a birdie opportunity to a bogey. Logan from deep. Oh, hey, Logan, welcome back to the game. Looks like he's got the nerves under control. He's not happy. Well, he's happy on the inside, but he won't show it. That was an excellent putt, and he'll pick up the only birdie on the card. So he's going to fight his way back just a little. Oh, Mason catches a lot of chains and then rolls away. So this is for his 4. Takes his time. Oh, teeters on the edge of the basket and falls in. If that comes out, it's probably rolling right back down the hill. So a nice break for Mason there. He's going to take a bogey, but probably feels okay. Wilson with a par. So we had a birdie, a par, and 2 bogeys on that hole. It played probably a little harder than they expected to, but again, that hill can get really nasty. So we are a third of the way through the round already, so we're going to take a check-in. Looks like our 3 of our lead card guys are in the lead here, but we also have Gage, and Gage is from East Henderson High School. He's a sophomore. And he's on the chase card today with Braden, also a sophomore from Fernleaf, and they are trying to catch these guys. Hole number 7, 246-foot par 3. We're playing to the red basket on the right line here. The line that the drone's flying is probably the most common throw. It's a bit of a tunnel shot backhand, but you can also take the fairway to the left that you see with a big forehand, which looks like is what Logan's lining up. That's generally the fairway down to the long basket, but with a big, ooh, I like it. The big spike that could land. Oh yeah, bit of a roll. Stop rolling. Oh, he's gonna like that a lot. Our sponsor for this hole is Nick Gibson and the Circle 3 Print Shop. They printed our league shirts that you'll see some of our cameramen and officials wearing. They do excellent job if you're looking for screen printing in the Asheville area. Hit them up. Wilson taking the more conventional route. He's asking for it to hit something. It does, not probably the way he wants, but there's some lines over there. He should be okay. Here's Mason. He's got a watt in his hand, so it tells me he's probably going down the right-hand gap here. I think that was the intention. Ooh, that's a pretty nasty kick. So he's going to find himself in the rough off to the left. Try and see if he can scramble and save a respectable score on this hole. Here's Ben throwing an atom now. It's apparently his goal to throw one of each of every MVP putter that they make. It turns over and never quite comes back, but there should only be maybe one tree in his way, so I don't think he's going to hate that one. You can see the basket in the center of the screen. It's very small because Mason really did kick kind of into no man's land over here. I don't quite see what he's lining up, but he's got an overhand throw prepped. Let's see what happens here. Oh, okay. Looked like he pulled it a little to the right and it kicked back to the left. I don't think he's quite going to have a look. No, he does not. He's just going to try and get up and down from here for a bogey. Big hyzer. Oh, just misses the basket. skips to about 20 feet. Here's where Wilson ended up after his kick. He's really only got the one tree in the way, so he has to decide whether to go left or right of it. Left is the choice. Also kicks just over there by Mason. Here's Mason's putt. A little further than I thought. Very confident, no problem. A very good bogey save. But that does bring Mason back down to even for the round. Ben, a chance to make good and tie Mason. And get within one of Wilson here. Very clean putt. Nice follow through. He's going to jog that one, and Ben's got to be happy with that birdie. Puts himself right in the mix. Here's Logan for his birdie. Hey, that's 2 in a row for Logan. That looks great. And then we have Wilson with his putt for par. That's, right through the chains and out the back, which means we have a 3-way tie at the top. Not quite the start these guys wanted, but again, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of the cameras, and maybe you get a bit anxious. Hole number 8, 282 feet. You want to carry this main fairway and maybe something on forehand that gets a skip up to the right, maybe a soft turning backhand. We'll see what these guys throw. The sponsor for this hole is Discraft. Special shout out to Discraft sponsored pro and 2014 Amateur Masters World Champion Ken Tyberski, who coaches the Christ School team. He helps out with the league a lot, and he's a great coach for those guys over there. So special thanks to Ken, who provided us with some Discraft discs and swag to give away. Logan throws a forehand. You probably wanted a little bit more left, but it doesn't look bad. Here's Ben throwing the flippy backhand. Looks really nice. Cruises right past the basket. I thought that was going to be a really good shot. He's probably in circle 2, maybe a little deeper than that, but he'll have something of a look. Wilson here with an FD1. So it looks like he's disking up and probably looking for a big skip. I don't think that's a terrible play. You really just have to hit this first gap with some forward momentum. Nice and low. There's the skip you're looking for. Wow, right to the edge of the bullseye. That is extremely well executed. And Wilson's in prime position to get back under par for the round. Mason also going with the turnover backhand. Really smooth. Looks great. Little bit of extra ground play, but he's probably edge of the circle here.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin, Catch Cam Kevin.
Thank you for all your
Big shout out to Catch Cam Kevin. Kevin came out and spent his time sprinting ahead of these cards and filming everything and helping out. And the coverage wouldn't be nearly as good without him, so big shout out to Kevin. Thank you so much. Here's Ben throwing back at the basket from deep. Puts it high. Gives it time. It didn't miss by much. That's an excellent try. Logan a little closer than I thought after seeing his tee shot. So he's got a straddle here. Just a bit short. So his birdie streak ends at 2, but he's had a lot of really good looks since those bogey holes. So it looks like he's back in the right mindset, which is nice to see. Logan's a heck of a golfer. Mason. Uncharacteristic low putt from Mason. So it looks like Wilson with the opportunity to take the lead here with a lone birdie on hole number 8. And he makes good. Puts Wilson back under par. He's the only player under par through 8 holes. And everybody else going to come drop in their threes. The hole didn't play too hard, and as you saw, pretty much everyone had a reasonable look at the 2, but putting's hard, turns out. And that brings us to our first Throw Pink Varsity Girls check-in. We were going to have an entire camera crew following these girls around, but when we had to move the event due to weather, we lost a bunch of players and our second camera crew. So that's Nora from Fernleaf throwing her patented lefty backhand. Here's Grayson, Owen High School, with a righty forehand. Grayson primarily up to this point a lefty backhand thrower as well, but when this event happened was suffering a shoulder injury, so you're going to see a lot of righty forehands. It looks great. Oh, catches the stump. Both of them would go on to make pars on that hole. Hole 9, a local favorite, one of the most aced holes in the county. It's a mere 165 feet, but the green, as you can see, is very treacherous. All of these guys are going to throw putters up there and hope they stick to chains or the ground. Our sponsor for this hole, Another Round to Asheville. The whole crew at Another Round, super supportive of the league. They even did some custom hot stamping for us on our trophy discs. And generally just really supportive. A couple of our players were on Team Another Round, which was really cool. So Wilson puts his up close. Logan with the Berg forehand.
Good shot.
Should be just fine. Really pretty shot. The hole's short, but you get on that tee pad and it can be a bit intimidating. And again, if you catch the wrong route, you're right at the bottom of the hill, and it can be treacherous. Ben, the same atom he threw on hole 7, and the same result. Rattles around a bit, probably not bad. That's that disc likes to flip up and fade slowly to the right. A great tool to have in the bag, super consistent. Just missed the line a little bit, but he'll have a look. Mason throwing a Luna right up the middle. A little bit of torque on it. Bit of a counter skip, but no one's at the bottom of the hill, which honestly, that's a win on this hole. Let's see. Wilson's got a dangerous putt, similar to hole 6. Anything that hits metal and doesn't go in is doomed. He gives it a full run, and that's a great make. That's an excellent birdie from Wilson. He puts himself 2 under. Here's Ben from the trees. Okay. All right. Catches a little metal, but fortunately it sits, which is best case scenario for that. Mason a little closer. Also a tree in the way here. He's got most of a gap. Taking his time. Whoa, and he rockets it in there. That's one that you definitely want to make sure hits chains, and it certainly does. That's a great putt. Puts himself back under for the round. Logan, the closest of the bunch. Good putt. It's his 3rd birdie in 4 holes. He's made his way to within 4 of the lead. Not a bad place to be. Ben's going to take the only par on the hole. Everyone else played that super well. Honestly, he played it very well too. And here we are on hole 10. Hole 10. I'd like to shout out Black Mountain Recreations and Parks on hole 10. They run a youth league, youth disc golf league in the spring. And we're super excited to have players coming from that league and making their way up to high school and playing in ours. It's 255 feet, hole 10. There's this kind of the straight at it, and then there's a gap off to the right that you can kind of see here if you want to throw something with a bit of hyzer. Looks like Wilson's opting for the straight at it route. Looks nice. If it gets down. Oh my. So that carries all the way down to the road. We'll have to see if that's in bounds or not, because the road is OB. It just doesn't usually come into play. Logan with an elevation koi. A little too flippy for him. Honestly, a great tree kick. That thing was fading hard right, and that's a tough up and down. He got an excellent kick there. Mason putting the breaker down the fairway. Hits a tree and kicks left. Not quite the result he wanted, but should be pretty safe. He'll have a look. Ben's got the proxy in hand, and he puts it out probably a bit higher than he wanted. Hits the leaves and kind of straightens out a bit, though. Okay, he'll have as much of a look as he wants to, I guess. So Mason, Ben, and Logan are going to go ahead and putt their seconds here while Wilson finds his disc with the help of some of our caddies and volunteers and makes his way down to it. But for pace of play, these guys agreed to go ahead and putt. All three of them taking runs at it. All three of them sitting real close to the basket. And then we have Wilson down there by the road. Turns out his disc was in by about 1.5 feet. So he took his meter in and marked it. But you can see he's right up against that brush. And he's trying to do what Mason so successfully did earlier. No luck. He didn't quite get high enough. You see here he got about halfway through the brush. So he'll try and get up and down here for his bogey. That forehand looks plenty good. He's right next to the log. These three guys are going to tap out their pars. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3. Good. And then we'll have Wilson come up and with his bogey putt. He did hit this down tree here. He's got it in his backswing, but it's close enough that it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Lining it up. A bit high, so it does look like he couldn't quite get that arm swing that he's used to. And that's going to result in a double bogey, which brings Wilson back to even par, puts Mason in the lead. Hole number 11, sponsored by the Best Friends Club Disc Golf Group. Hanging out, doing good stuff, being best friends. 310 feet. OB is everything this path and right, so that's center path and right, including the teeing area. So players are either going to try and go wide or through the middle. Logan tries to go wide, catches the tree, but ends up in bounds. Not terrible. Mason looks like he's trying to go straight down the middle here. All of these guys have 300 in the bag pretty casually. That's a Malta that doesn't quite flip over as much as he wants, but he's got all the distance he needs, so I'll have an outside look at 2. Here's Ben. He's also going up the middle. Just under the trees. Looks nice as long as it stays away from that OB. Looks like he finds himself a few feet short of the out of bounds, which is exactly what you want to see. Wilson has got that same truth from hole 2. And he's going to try and put a little bit of ante on it. Get it up near the basket. A bit high. Catches the branch and is inbounds. You can see he got about 8 feet that he needed to stay off the pavement. He might give this a half bid, but it's pretty far. It was a good, honest run. Logan from a little closer. Yeah, it was a half bid, half layup. Ben with the best look of the bunch, probably chains and out. Mason's got some choices to make here. This branch in front of him's hanging real low. It's very in the way. Decides on the straddle, but it's going to make this putt very difficult. See if he can make good. Just a bit high. Wilson drops in his par. It's a good putt. Mason for the same. Oh, front cage and out. Mason's going to drop down to even par with this bogey. Oh, style points, though. Very stylish. The behind the back putt. Ben's going to go ahead and drop in. Logan will do the same. And with that, we have a 4-way tie at the top because Braden on the chase card is also even through 11 holes. Logan, 2 back of the pack. Everyone's making a run at this thing. Hole number 12, 228 feet uphill. You're going to want to throw basically a forehand at this kind of leaning tree you see off to the left right here and have it fade down to the basket, or a backhand that you trust to flip late. This hole is sponsored by the Interscholastic Disc Golf Group, a newly established group for supporting the growth of interscholastic disc golf competitions just like ours. More information on that group to come for anybody who's interested. And Logan with the box puts one up there close. It was coming in hot. A little tree help. Never hurt anybody. So he should have a pretty good look at birdie there. Ben Trying to turn over a putter nice and soft, and he does. Boy, that looks great. Oh, catches one of the last trees protecting the green and kicks him back. He'll have a look, but it's going to be a straddle, and it's going to be scary because behind that basket, it drops off hard. Wilson, the pyro, maybe a little skip. There we go. Great tree. If it sits, oh, he's going to really like that. He's going to really like that. That's a great shot. Mason also lining up the pyro, trying to do the same thing. Let's see what he's got here. Oh, a bit early. Yeah. So he's going to advance a quarter of the way down the fairway and try it again. See if he can get up and down from this spot. That looks great. Little ground action and sit. That is an excellent upshot. Looks like he'll have a pretty casual par. Here's Ben from behind that tree. His disc rolled to. Yeah, hard to commit to the run there. He gives it a shrug. He knows, heart wasn't in it. That's a layup. Here's Wilson for his birdie, though. Makes good. Back under. He's got the lead again. Mason after a very good scramble shot. An excellent par. Logan also birdie look. Hey, there we go. Logan only 2 back at the leader. He's at 1 over. And we've got Ben with his short par putt here. Nice job. We have our second Throw Pink Varsity Girls check-in. They're through 14 holes, and Nora has a 1-stroke lead over Grayson. So let's see how they attack the tricky hole number 12. Nora, big lefty backhand, a bit early. Yeah, hits the tree and falls down, so she'll have a long way to go for the up and down. Here's Grace lining up the forehand. Righty forehand, big flex, comes out. It's most of the way down the fairway. After that, Nora would take 2 shots to get up and down and grab the bogey. And then Grace, unfortunately on her second, rolled to the bottom of the hill, and it took her 2 to get back up and took a double bogey. So Nora's lead after 15 holes is 2 strokes. Look at Braden, still in the mix from the chase card at 1 over. Things are getting tight, and we are through 12. Hole 13, sponsored by Avery Spring Private Disc Golf Course. They host an event there with the high school league every season. It's awesome. You can find them on Facebook to request a tee time. Great people. This hole is 255 feet, and there are 2 lines. You either want to go straight down the middle, or you want to take this left forehand gap, and that is not quite it. Big kick to the right for Wilson. Logan threw just before the cameras got set up on this one while we were recording the ladies. But he also took the big wide forehand, and he's about deep circle 2 or maybe just outside. We'll see him in a little bit. Ben also hits a tree and falls early. So we're 0 for 3 on clean tee shots, but this is a really tough shot. And here we go. Mason, the pyro, also around the backside, and he's going to have a 20-25 footer. Made it all the way down to the green. Really nice tee shot. Let's see if he can get himself back on the birdie train. Wilson, big sharp forehand, catches a late tree. Looks like he's going to have a long look, but that's going to be a tough par to pick up here. Ben, similar distance. Little flexy forehand. Ooh, gives the basket a bit of a scare. He's going to have 20 feet back up the hill. Logan put a little ante on that koi. It hits the ground and sticks like they are known to do. So he'll have a 20-25 footer as well. Wilson gives it a roll. Gives it a run. Finds the top of the cage and can't stick, so he's going to drop in a bogey. Here's Ben from 20. Really clean. Ben picks up his par from not the best position on the fairway, so that's a really good 3. Mason for the lead because Wilson is going to bogey this hole. So if he drops this, he's the only player under par once again. That's a great putt. Course is playing hard today. It played pretty tricky. The wind was really swirly. It started to pick up as the day went on. So not super surprising that it's playing as tough as it is. Logan, the exact same distance. Catches a right side chain, but you can tell he's a little frustrated. That's a putt he usually makes. He's going to drop in his bogey. Wilson's going to drop in his bogey. And we have another throw pink check in. 2-stroke lead, 3 holes to play. Nora hits a tree and finds herself in deep circle 1. Here's Grayson with the forehand. Yep. It's a little nose up. Hits a tree. So she's in the fairway. They would both end up with a par on that hole, so Nora's lead still 2 strokes. Hole 14. We didn't have an official sponsor on hole 14, but I did want to take a minute to shout out Tracy de Blasio, Rich Minford, Miles Kovac, Eric Lake Julian, and everyone else from our local club who generously donated discs to the high school league. Keeps our league free to play for everyone who wants to. So big shout out to those guys. This hole's 250 feet. It's right there. All this tall brush you see on the right is out of bounds. And so you really have to throw something that you trust to get under all these trees, because if you hit them, there's a decent chance you're going to end up in the junk. Mason puts one right down the middle. Ben out of bounds. Oh, he punches through. Ben punched through the V in that tree. That was destined for out of bounds. That's an exceptionally lucky break, and you know what? He'll take it. Logan going forehand here. Oh, very sticky grass. That's helpful. That was going to take a big sharp kick to the right, so he's going to be happy with that. Here's Wilson with an NV, looking to go straight up the middle. Oh, too high. It actually gets stuck in the branch, but it's clearly out of bounds, and the card comes to an agreement that it was out of bounds very early, so he elects just to re-tee instead. So he grabs a Toro, puts a little torque on it, and sends it long. So he'll have a long comebacker there for 4. Here's Mason to make it 2 in a row and extend his lead. 2 down, excellent putt. We've got Ben here trying to keep pace, actually. Keep that lead just to 1 stroke. And, oh, it tries to fall at the back, but it drops. Ben finds himself 1 down. Wilson from circle 2. Try and keep it as a single bogey. Looks just a bit to the right. Logan also picks up the birdie there. So 3 birdies on this hole. Extremely good. This hole was tied for the most birdies, but it actually only averaged exactly 3. So that OB was coming into play on a lot of players. Definitely some big numbers. Wilson sneaks one in the left side for a double bogey. So that puts him 4 off the pace now. And Logan in the mix. 2 holes to play. Nora with a 2-stroke lead. Here's our throw pink girls varsity check-in. Nora puts one out. Good lefty hole. Finds herself in circle 1. Excellent shot. Grayson, no surprise. A flex forehand coming at you here. Puts it up. Nice little turn on it. And even closer. Nora would miss that C1X putt, and Grayson would make birdie. So with 1 hole to play, Nora has a 1-stroke lead. And we will bring that hole to you after the boys finish 15. 15, 285 feet. Generally, most of the guys I think are going to disc a little bit up on this one. Really try and push the main gap with a forehand and then skip up to the pin. It's downhill, but it's a tricky gap to hit here. That looks a bit high, but... Oh, well, I'm absolutely wrong. Bit high, nothing. That's parked. Great shot. So we'll see if Ben can match shot for shot here. That's lower. I like that for the skip, though. It does get a couple skips, and he finds himself also just outside the bullseye. Really pretty shot.
So, yes.
Logan with the enforcer that he's just been throwing all over this course. Really leaning on that disc today. It's done him well on the forehand. inside, though. Catches a couple trees. He'll have a circle 2 look. And Wilson's got a Firebird in his hand, so he's also going to try and get a real steep cut. That looks good. Oh, very friendly ground play. Puts him extremely close to the basket. Okay. Logan from circle 2 gives it half a run. And he's going to be content with the par. Ben, ooh, a little wobbly, but hey, it counts. 2 in a row for Ben. He's 2 down. Logan taps him in par. Mason, 3 in a row. He and Wilson doing a little dance here. And they're both going to drop in their birdies from the bullseye. Now we have the final hole of the Varsity Girls Division, sponsored by Throw Pink. Grayson has the box after her birdie on the last hole, and she knows she's got to put it close to put some pressure on Nora, who's got a 1-stroke lead. And it rolls, and it checks up. So Nora knows that she has got to put this one very close in order to take this thing down. Big rip comes in, and she hits the cage. Nora clips the bottom of the cage. This putt is for the win, and she drains it. Congratulations on our back-to-back women's varsity champion, Nora Krumholz from Fernleaf Community Charter School. An excellent competition there from Grayson. Congratulations, Grayson, and good luck at Western Carolina. We're so happy to have you in the league. Hole 16, one of my favorite holes. It's right in front of you, and you can run it if you want to. It's 219 feet. Most of the guys are going to throw like a slightly sweeping backhand, really try and match the hill on its way back down, hit something and slide right up to the basket. This hole is sponsored by Innova Disc Golf. Special shout out to Dave George over at Innova, who, when I told him about this league when we were playing a doubles event once, the first thing out of his mouth was, how can Innova help? And they provided some pretty cool prizes and discs and bags for our players for the regional championship. So big thank you to them. Mason, on a heater, puts it very close. You can see we've got a handful of folks gathered on the road there. We got a big gallery following us around as some of the other cards are starting to finish up. They want to watch the action. Ben puts one under that log. He should be okay, but the footing's going to be a little weird. Wilson, smooth backhand. He's going to skip right up. Hey, the pin for good measure. So he's going to have an easy birdie. Try and erase the woes of hole 14. Logan with the only forehand look here. He's got his A3. Around. Huge skip from the tee. We all thought it was going in, but he'll be just long and first to act here. And just not committed to the putt today. So he's going to have a par on hole 16. Here's Ben. Disc ended up under the log, so he's got a straddle. Never a problem. An excellent putt. That's 3 in a row for Ben. Find himself 3 down. Unfortunately for him, though, Mason is also in for birdie from about 4 feet. That's 4 in a row for Mason, and they've got 2 holes to play. So we're off to hole 17 as soon as Logan drops in his par. Hole 17, our sponsor for hole 17 is our partner, the Buncombe County Special Olympics. We ran an event during the 2024 season with the Buncombe County Special Olympics where we had their athletes come out and try disc golf. And let me tell you, it was my favorite event we did all year. Big shout out to the Buncombe County Special Olympics for partnering with us. Hole 17 is 276 feet. And most of these players are going to want to pipe a forehand straight down the middle and then get a little ground play and kick up the hill. It plays similarly to hole 15, but it's a little uphill instead of a little downhill. But I do think we'll see some fairway drivers. Big skip and catches a log and sticks. So that looks good for Mason's Thunderbird. Here's Ben, knowing he's got to keep pace. He's 1 stroke back. But Mason's not slowing down here. He goes with the big backhand. Late turn, super smooth. Okay, he's a little further down the hill. That's going to be a deep circle look. Honestly, I think it's just outside of circle 1. So he's going to have a circle 2 look to try and put the pressure on Ben there. Calm down, Wilson. FD3, nice and low, big skip. Started to skip, caught a tree and sat, so he'll have a long look. Not a bad throw. We've got Logan, he's got a wraith in his hands. He's going to try and follow those guys. Not quite stable enough. Put a move on it, and here he is. A little bit obstructed, but he's got a few options of how to get up to this pin. I think he'll make good. Let's take a look. It's high, but it's a berg. It's going to sit right down. Yeah, that should be collecting that 3. No problem at all. Wilson from circle 2, after his unfortunate tree kick, gives it a little go. Just a bit short and right. He'll have a 3. Here's Ben. They did walk this out, and it is just outside of circle 1, so I'd expect a bit of a step putt here, maybe a jump putt. Going uphill, he needs all the power he can get. Little stepper. Dead center, Benjamin. And he's smiling. He knows he needed that. Down 1 with 1 to play. And now we've got Mason with some awkward footing. Can't quite decide how he wants to play this one. Wilson asked after the hole if Mason could have moved that, and since it's not there intended to be a part of the course, and it's completely behind his lie, that's considered loose debris. He could have moved that, but he decided he didn't need to, and he made good anyways. So our leaders, 5 down and 4 down after 5 in a row and 4 in a row, and we are off to hole 18, the only par 4 on the course today, and it's a doozy. It averaged 4.36. It's just about 500 feet, just under. And from the tee, these guys are really going to want to try and push the back line of trees that they can see with something going quick. If you can make it to about here, if you can get out of the trees or where there's only really one line of trees in front of you, you're really going to like what you're looking at for your second shot. And then it's just a matter of getting up and down. So this hole is sponsored by the Professional Disc Golf Association. I'm very honored to be on the Youth and Education Committee for the PDGA, and for them to work with us, kind of thinking about scholastic leagues, what that looks like, how that's going to work, sanctioning. There's some cool stuff coming, so excited for them. Mason puts his out of the opening, which is huge. Ben here, I don't think we can quite see it from the catch cam, but he actually is just beyond Mason's disc. So Mason will be first to act between the two of them. That's what we're looking at. Wilson's got a Venom, puts it high, and it's inside of where it needs to be. And it doesn't really hit anything. He's going to end up right next to Mason. All 3 of them making it out of the gap and all the way to the open, more or less. Logan with that rive. He likes to throw on hyzer, and he does. Catches a tree and sits, so he's got a little bit of work to do. This is what I'm talking about. You really want to be 50 feet in front of this so that you don't have to hit the gap so much. He clips a tree, finds himself down on the 17 tee pad. So he's going to hope to get up and down for the par. Here's Mason. He's got to put this close to more or less wrap this thing up. What a great tee shot.
Great shot. Great.
And that's about as close as it gets. An excellent shot for Mason, and short of Ben throwing one in from back here, that's probably going to wrap it up. Here's Wilson trying to join the party. Ooh, kind of thought about throwing it in himself. He'll give himself, 20 plus feet. And here's Ben. He probably has to put this thing in to force a playoff. So let's see how he approaches that. The height was probably there, but missed the line. So he's gonna need some help from this one. There's Logan throwing his third. Tries to go big forehand, hits the tree dead center of the fairway. It's a frustrating day. Logan's a heck of a golfer. I see him on the course all the time. He's going to come back with a vengeance this season, no doubt about it. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on this coverage next year. He's going to go ahead and just pitch up, try and take his bogey and get out of here. Wilson to put himself under for the round. Got a long-ish look, C1X. Good enough. Hey, that puts him under par. One of 3 players to finish the round under par. Congratulations, Wilson. And we're going to miss you this season, but congrats on graduating and moving on to the next stage. Very exciting for you. There's Ben. He finds the back of the cage. Not the prettiest putt of the day, but he makes it good. That's 5 in a row to end the round. 5 down. Really, really great finish from our defending regional champion. But the fact is, Mason is just too close. He's got a big smile because he knows that's 6 in a row to end the round and to take down the regional championship. A huge, huge, huge run at the end for our champion. That 6 down was rated 957 for Mason, and all 4 of our featured card members found themselves in the top 4. Everyone picked it up on the back 9. That was such an exciting round. No surprise, with 3 of the top 5 members at the Fernleaf Community Charter School won the team aspect of scoring on both the varsity boys and girls divisions. Congratulations to them. I hope you enjoyed the coverage today as much as I did. We're so excited to have this league up and running every spring. For more information on the Western North Carolina High School Disc Golf League, including past winners, pictures, contact information, the schedule for next season and beyond, and even more, please visit our website at www.WNCHSDG.com. Again, I appreciate you watching this coverage with me. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors from this season and everyone who's come out, volunteered their time, spotters, scorekeepers, caddies, the community at large. It really takes a village, and I'm so proud to be a part of this. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the course. Take care.